Lifestyle, in simple terms, is a way of living. It typically reflects an individual's attitudes and interaction with the outside world. It includes elements such as patterns of social relations, food and drink consumptions, behaviors, and interests. For instance, for some, a lifestyle might be about keeping up with the latest fashion trends, latest movies, fast cars, and so on. But for some, it might be about achieving work-family life balance, or for the slightly younger ones, study-leisure activities balance. Whatever it is, what's more important is whether or not one lives a healthy lifestyle. A kind of lifestyle that lowers the risk of developing chronic diseases of lifestyle, or simply preventing you from dying too early. So today we discuss a healthy lifestyle. We will look at why it is important in the first place to live a healthy lifestyle and what the consequences of an unhealthy lifestyle are. We will then spend a greater part of this show sharing with you simple and practical tips on how you can transform and live a healthy lifestyle. Now, to help us with this is a great team of experts we've assembled for you. Now, this includes a sports and exercise medicine physician, a diabetic nurse educator, and a person living with type 1 diabetes to learn about how a healthy lifestyle can help in both prevention and better management of chronic diseases like diabetes. We also have a professional cyclist and founder of Run Sharp Health Initiative to learn about an active lifestyle. So sit back, relax, and learn from this bumper show ahead. You can be part of the show as always with your questions or views. Call us on Johannesburg 714-6843, 6847, or 6857, or simply interact with us on our Facebook page, or send us those tweets on Twitter at SABC Health Talk. If we have a bit of time, we'll read some of the tweets. I'm Dr. Seloma Daung, and this is Health Talk.
Obesity is classified as a lifestyle disease like diabetes. This means that people can avoid suffering from obesity and diabetes simply by changing their lifestyle and eating habits. Overweight or obesity is no longer prevalent only in developed countries, but is now a global epidemic. Cases of overweight people in developing countries such as South Africa and Mexico has increased. Obesity is generally caused by eating too much and moving too little. If you eat large amounts of fast food that is high in sugar and fat, you are likely to be obese. Many people spend many hours in front of their computers and television sets doing work or leisure activities. Inactive people are more likely to gain weight because they don't burn the calories that they take in from food and drinks.
The causes vary. There are environmental factors, there are social factors, there are cultural factors, there are family factors like the state of a pregnant mother. If you're obese as a mother, a pregnant mother, you're most likely to give birth to a child that is big.
Diabetes is on the rise, yet most cases are preventable with healthy lifestyle changes. Managing diabetes is all about maintaining the balance between insulin, food and exercise so that your blood sugar level doesn't go too high or too low. Like obese people, diabetes patients also need to eat healthy food, exercise regularly, and monitor their sugar level. Once you are diagnosed with diabetes, you should immediately contact a registered dietitian to arrange a proper regular meal plan. Smoking increases your risk of various diabetes complications, including reduced blood flow in the legs and feet, which can lead to infections. Alcohol can cause high or low blood sugar, depending on how much you drink. While exercise is also important, what you eat has the biggest impact when it comes to weight loss. A diabetes diet is simply a healthy eating plan that is high in nutrients, low in fat and added sugar, and moderate in calories. Regular physical activities is vital for your overall health and wellness, regardless of whether you are obese or living with diabetes.
Okay, so why do we need a healthy lifestyle? And what is an unhealthy lifestyle in the first place? Well, to help us with this question, we have our special guest, and that is Dr. Rob Collins. Dr. Rob Collins is a sports and exercise medicine physician or simply sports physician for short, who's in private practice in Johannesburg. Welcome to Health Talk, Dr. Kwala.
Thank you, Dr. Sel.
All right, now, this show is about healthy lifestyles, but perhaps it's important that we understand, firstly, what an unhealthy lifestyle is. Could you just take us through what an unhealthy lifestyle is?
Well, what happens is in our 20th and 21st century lifestyle, everything's essentially throwaway and everything's provided for us. So we end up, and everything's about money. So we end up spending all of our days sitting at work, sitting in the car on the way to work, sitting in the car on the way home, and sitting in front of the TV at home. So we're completely inactive. And then the same with food. The food we eat, the most convenient food, instead of eating the best options with food. So we don't have time to plan what we're going to eat during the day. And we get hungry during the day, so go and pick up a chocolate or some fast food or something like that. And we end up eating the worst things and not burning any calories at the same time.
I mean, I know that you said, most of the things that were done in the past, earlier years are not done now. But I mean, essentially you're saying that we're not very active and we eat bad foods.
Correct.
Let's just focus on that a little bit more. Why? Why is it that as human beings we're inactive?
Well, there's two parts of activity. The first part of activity is actually just living an active lifestyle without actually doing exercise. So an active lifestyle would be things such as getting up, instead of using the escalator or the elevator to walk up the stairs, or to park further away from the entrance of the shopping centre, and to make sure you walk to the bathroom on the floor below you every time you need to go to the bathroom. But because everything's about time, we actually don't do that. And the second part is then actually formally exercising, to go to the gym, or to go and run, or to go and walk, or to just get out into some fresh air and actually do some physical activity.
As years go by, I mean, cities and towns and countries as a whole, go through development. Could that be having some effect on our activity levels, do you think?
Most definitely. And a lot of the public transport systems which are being arranged and are being arranged in South African cities as well, now in the 21st century, they're starting to look at green areas and walkways and cycle tracks, etc. But prior to that, it was all about convenience and speed of transport. And people were using taxis and tuk-tuks and trains and buses, etc., which all involve inactivity. Whereas now, the newer, I suppose in South Africa we're in a better position that these other systems haven't all been developed. So newer systems which involve activity can be developed.
I mean, I would imagine there's still differences between some of lifestyles in urban areas versus in rural areas. That in rural areas you still have people being generally active, more active than
in rural areas. The problem would be more not related to inactivity, but probably more related to the nutritional components, and also then not convenience of food, but rather availability of food, which is obviously a completely different problem. And has similar means of sorting it out, but resources and finances are needed in that area as well.
Well, just related to food then, I mean, the other stuff that happens, there's issues of, the kind of lifestyles that we lead, smoking, just alcohol consumption and so on. Your comment on that?
I don't like how you look at my body when you spoke about alcohol. But smoking it's completely established, and it's not a matter of debate. It is not healthy. It is purely detrimental to the body. It apparently has some sort of calming effect that people can use for helping to manage stress, but there's far better ways to do that compared to the negative effects. So really smoking is a thing which I think if we'd known what we know about smoking now when it was originally started, it would have been banned or illegal like other drugs are illegal. Alcohol, quite similar. There's not really very many beneficial effects to alcohol, but probably most of us do drink. But with alcohol, one can get away with drinking in moderation, and then not driving, of course. But drinking in moderation is then not going to be too harmful.
We're going to get back to drinking in moderation, but essentially what we're saying is the unhealthy bit is drinking too much or abusing alcohol?
Well, it's actually, there isn't a healthy component to alcohol, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
very
it's
interesting.
It's empty calories,
Yeah.
you know. So if we're talking about diet, is it better to have some alcohol with it?
Yeah.
Is it really?
Yeah. And of course, the other bit that we worry about is drugs that go with alcohol, isn't that so?
Exactly.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Now, so why then should we worry about an unhealthy lifestyle that we've just described now? So what will happen to me if I leave this? If I'm inactive, I drink alcohol as much as I want, I eat whatever I want. What will happen to me?
Well, the first, in again the 21st century, is that people say, well, it's all about me. So if I want to die at 45, well, so what? But the problem is that overeating or incorrect eating and being inactive then leads to the person becoming overweight and obese, and that leads to numerous other medical conditions, of which the most obvious is diabetes type 2, and that comes with it a huge number of other medical conditions such as hypertension and cardiac disease and high cholesterol, etc. And those problems are, while they are a problem for the individual, they also become a problem for society, because I mean, if the person were to just get overweight and die, well, it's very sad, but they're gone.
Yeah.
But they carry on living while being an unhealthy person who has to be maintained and tried to sort out. And that becomes society's problem to actually keep the person going. And obviously society wants to keep the person going, but it is a problem for the community at large.
Yeah. Well, you know, you mentioned overweight and obese and diabetes, and I'd like us to focus on that a little more. Let's talk about overweight and obesity. I mean, this is becoming a massive problem. I do know that it's not only for South Africa, but you know, for I suppose for the rest of the developing world. How much of a problem do we have in that regard in South Africa?
South Africa is becoming one of the leading countries, so it is a very big problem, and it's in all of our communities as well. I think there's a lot of people may think that various more privileged communities don't have as much of a problem as others, but it is, as we've mentioned before, rural communities, that the types of food that they're getting is not as good as in urban settings. But yes, obesity is a very big problem, and there's many groups trying to address it. But essentially what happens is the person becomes overweight, and then their body doesn't really have sufficient insulin, which is a hormone in the body, to process all of their body weight, and they then essentially run out of insulin. And they can't then process, they develop diabetes, and they can't process carbohydrates anymore.
Okay. Well, after the break, we'll learn more about a healthy lifestyle. Please stay with us.
Ahika Manor produces abstract and symbolic works of art. He called his latest collection Vote with Ink, Not Blood.
Praying for peace, literally, in my own way.
The South African film titled Luister or Listen in Afrikaans tackles issues of race in the country.
I think that the end goal is the reformation of institutional culture, but how we get there is in fact through changing the language policy so that no student is forced to learn in Afrikaans.
It's fashion designers like Julia Mpoko who are starting to pay more attention to menswear and hope to make a mark in the fashion industry.
So regardless of whether you're African, European, there's certain styles that you like. So if an African man enjoys wearing simple, well-tailored pants, then yes, I guess.
Join Refulo Mula for that 1 hour weekly dose of arts and entertainment news every Friday at 9 p.m. on Trends.
practice of living a lifestyle that is geared towards reducing the risk of developing chronic illnesses. It includes healthy diet, spirituality, and relaxation. But what do people understand about a healthy lifestyle?
Being healthy is the first thing a human being must focus on first. Or without a healthy body, you have nothing in life.
Healthy eating helps us to grow well too, because healthy eating leads to healthy growing, healthy growth, and it's a good example.
Is it really more expensive to eat healthier? Often the general public assume it is more expensive to eat healthier foods.
Mostly people, just because it says 25 rand for two, no, it's expensive. You know what I can buy? I can buy 2 beers, I can buy weed, I can buy cigarette. No, what's that? That's not how it's supposed to be. You have money, you have to buy it because it's your body. You want to be healthy, buy it. Buy it.
You can turn your life around if you follow these tips. Eat healthy, exercise regularly, strive for spiritual wellness, and practice relaxation.
Buying vegetables at fruit and veg simply because I want to keep a healthy lifestyle. That's why I'm even buying now spinach, because I believe spinach is one of those that can keep you healthy. And I'm even having an apple so that an apple keeps a doctor away.
Consuming unhealthy foods put you at high risk for developing chronic diseases.
Let's start with the physical health. Number one, you have to eat healthy. And then you have to drink water, and you have to do exercises. And you have to know how much water you need to put in your body and what kind of food that you need to put in your body. As you do like that, you are actually living a healthy life.
Living healthier is a personal choice, but everyone has a role to play. Individuals, families, communities, government, and other organizations can work together to create environments and conditions that support healthy living.
Healthy living. So what is a healthy lifestyle? Well, let's get this from our guest. We still have Dr. Rob Collins, sports and exercise medicine physician based in Johannesburg, and we're now joined by 2 other special guests. First up is Sister Razana Ali, no stranger to this show, who's a diabetic nurse educator from DESA. She'll tell us what DESA is now. And next to her is Romeo Malepe. Now, Romeo is a person living with type 1 diabetes and is founder of an entity called Swikiri. And apparently, he has a website, swikiri.co.za. Welcome to Health Talk, you too.
Thank you.
Okay. Dr. Collins, perhaps let's start with you and take it from our last discussion where we talked about an unhealthy lifestyle, especially overweight, obesity, and diabetes. Essentially, indirectly, we were saying it's unhealthy to be inactive and all of those things that we listed. So, what constitutes a healthy lifestyle then?
So, a healthy lifestyle would be exercising correctly, and being active on a day-to-day basis, as well as eating the correct foods and drinking sufficient fluids, and making sure one gets sufficient time for rest and relaxation. Because I think that's a component people often forget about.
Right. And we're not only talking about adults, we're talking even about children, isn't it?
It's actually more important about children, because when a child becomes obese, then they grow up into an obese adult.
Okay.
And if it can be if it can be controlled in children, there's a very good chance that you can reduce the risk in adults.
All right. I believe we have a caller on the line, Diane from Durban. Diane, good morning and welcome to Health Talk. Diane, are you there? No, okay. We'll get Diane later on. Let's talk to you, Sister Razana Ali. Firstly, tell us about DESA. What is it that you do? Just remind us.
DESA is the Diabetes Education Society of South Africa. We represent the diabetes educators out there, not only nurses, but pharmacists, but dietitians, anyone that wants to manage patients with diabetes. We represent them and provide education for them.
Yeah, all right. Just now we spoke about the importance of a healthy lifestyle. I mean, in the first segment we spoke about just how an unhealthy lifestyle can cause diabetes, or is a risk factor for diabetes, for lack of a better way of putting it. But before we carry on, let's connect with Diane again. Diane, welcome to Health Talk.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you? Your question or comment, please?
Well, I'm 58 years old, and I've got a very healthy lifestyle. I've got a clean bill of health. I go for a lot of walks. I eat healthy, and I swim. And I've still got my mother of 87.
Oh, well done. Thank you so much. I'm sure a lot
and
of people...
And I don't drink and I don't smoke.
Very, very well done. And I'm sure a lot of people watching this program will, you know, take a leaf from what you've just said. Thank you very and congratulations. Please keep going. All right. Let's talk about a healthy lifestyle now, insofar as prevention of diabetes is concerned. I mean, clearly you're about talking about diabetes, but a healthy lifestyle can go a long way in delaying development of diabetes, and that's your comment.
Absolutely. I mean, research has shown that delaying the diagnosis of diabetes means also prevention of complications. So a healthy lifestyle seems to be one of the key components of prevention of diabetes, hypertension, and other non-communicable diseases, actually. So what you want to do is look at a healthy lifestyle, looking at eating correctly and exercising, being more active. Like Doctor said as well, it's not a matter of going to gym all the time. It's about being more active and also knowing your body, getting to understand what your body is about so that you know these are the parameters that I have to go to and these are the points that I need to achieve.
So practically, when you say, you know, be active, practical examples, what do you mean?
Gardening is activity. That's very important because actually you use up a lot of energy when you're doing gardening. Women that are spring cleaning their homes, you know, reaching up to the top of the cupboard and washing there, going down again, washing out and doing washings. The problem is that we always think is you've got to go to a gym, and not everybody's comfortable running on the road. Not everybody's safe being on the road. So there's other opportunities to create activity. You can walk around your own house 5-10 times so that you can actually get some energy going.
Right. I mean, we've just heard from this, shall I say, old lady, who's quite active and living a quite healthy lifestyle. Now, you don't differentiate between a lifestyle that can prevent diabetes and a lifestyle that can help in management of diabetes, do you?
No. Everything is about healthy eating, healthy and activity is going to prevent not only the diabetes, like I said, hypertension, other non-communicable diseases, and also prevent complications of the diabetes once you have been diagnosed.
Okay, we're talking about diabetes, and we have someone here who is living with type 1 diabetes. Romeo, please tell us about yourself.
Yeah, I'm a musician, graphic designer. I've been in the advertising game for the past 16 years. And 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with diabetes. And I suffered a lot because of my lack of education about diabetes. And so therefore, I was using alcohol as a painkiller. So I was drinking every day. And yeah, are we all right with the sound? Yeah, so I was drinking every day in order to cope with my depression that was created by the diagnosis. So I realized later that, you know, I can't keep on drinking, being an alcoholic. I need to do something about this diabetes situation. So I chose to educate myself about diabetes. I did a lot of research. I read a lot of books. I went to a lot of sites. I watched a lot of videos. And I spoke to diabetes educators like the lady sitting next to me here. And now I understand what diabetes is, and now I'm becoming a bodybuilder. Now quit drinking. I've been sober for 2.5 years, and I'm eating healthy, and yeah, I'm looking good.
You say that you suffered because of lack of education.
Yes.
What exactly do you mean by that?
That means that even the people around me don't know what diabetes is about. See, there are a whole lot of myths surrounding diabetes. Like, for instance, I always thought that diabetes was an illness for older people, you know, because my grandfather died of diabetes, and you know, and a whole lot of like elderly people around my neighborhood died of diabetes. So, like, you know, there are other myths. I can go on and on about the myths. So until it hit me, you know, I realized that.
Yeah. So he mentioned something there about lack of education.
Yes.
You as an educator, I mean, what we can learn from what he's saying is that there perhaps isn't enough education on diabetes out there in communities. Your comment?
You are so right, that there's such a bigger population with diabetes and that are at risk of developing diabetes. But the population of people that are actually doing education is much smaller. So we're trying to get more of the education out there by you being available to, you know, at least get people to understand and get to talk about it. And then also the doctors and the other healthcare professionals to educate patients and people. But you know that World Health Day this year is the 7th of April, and it's dedicated to diabetes this year. So we're going to, from a National Department of Health perspective, start looking at educating people, not only regards to the diabetes prevention, but everything regarding non-communicable diseases. So education is becoming more and more sort of available to people.
Okay. We've got some tweets coming in. Someone says, how do I get rid of a big belly or mkaba? And someone says, lemon daily, 1 teaspoon ginger and garlic, gym, an hour session, 4 times a week, multivitamins and omegas and calcium. The other one says, we want to, but it's expensive. Are you living a healthy lifestyle? Share with us how you do it. And I'm not sure whether it's directed at me, but I can gladly share that. Is there any science behind blood type diet? Well, Dr. Collins, we have quite a few there for you. Maybe let's just get to you, but I'll tell you what, we have to go for a quick commercial break. Perhaps when you come back, we'll get an opportunity for you to go over some of those. Okay, after the break, we get practical tips on an active lifestyle. Please stay with us.
Looking for social issues?
It is not our intention to give condoms to 10-year-old children.
We're here to assist you. Looking for religious issues?
The point is not for the church to try and prove whether this is the fact.
So you want accountability? Is there a system of governance in your churches?
Political issues.
Barack Obama said Africa should stop looking to the outside for salvation and focus on someone else being at fault for the problems of the continent.
Economic issues.
The young mothers, single mothers that's buying property now.
Or just looking to air your views.
Here are some of your views on social media.
Look no further, as Newsroom has all the informative information you need. Weekdays at 9 a.m. only on the SABC News channel.
SABC News. We report, contextualize, and present news and current affairs honestly, fairly, and fully. We consider it a duty to provide consistent, relevant, useful, and top-quality information and analysis. Our mission is to provide credible, accurate, and interesting news programming, bringing news into everyone's homes in everyone's languages. Thank you, South Africa, for relying on SABC News for quality news output and for making us your #1 source of information. SABC News, Africa's news leader.
Welcome back. Now, whatever your age, fitness level, regular physical activity plays an important part in your health and well-being. Let's understand that a little more from our special guests. We now have 2 other very special guests. First up is Alim Milazi, who's founder of Run Shop. Alim, welcome to Health Talk once again.
Thank you.
All right. And next to him, we have Lutando Kaka, who's a Velocaya professional cyclist. Welcome to Health Talk.
Thanks, Doc.
All right. Before we talk to Alim, let's watch something about what Alim does.
Run Sharp is a health initiative that promotes health among township youth, particularly in Soweto and Alexandra. We use the sport of running to promote health among the kids.
Both Ngaiana and Milazi say young children are more vulnerable to diabetes and other health problems if they don't adhere to a healthy diet and exercise.
Even at school, the children that do not take part, in our school activities, you find that then those are the ones that tend to gain weight, not only as like children, but even when they grow into adolescents, teenagers, and adulthood, then they just keep adding on weight, which can create like problems later in life.
The Run Sharp youth say the program has done a lot for them.
Running in this year, and it benefited me a lot because now I have fitness and everything. My mentality is great. I can think clearly.
For me, it's good because I experience things like all kinds of marathon.
This is great work you're doing there, Alim.
Yes, it is. It's wonderful to work with kids in the townships. I think it's important to highlight the importance of health to them, particularly at a young age, because as we know, embracing positive habits at an early age is good in the long term.
Yeah.
So we do various things with the kids. We expose them to sports science, to sports medicine, to education about anti-doping, and also financial literacy.
Okay, okay. There's two things you do.
Yes.
Firstly is education.
Yes.
And then the other part is promoting physical activity.
That's right.
Now, let's talk about education.
Yes.
Education now, in terms of health.
Yes.
Of course, the other parts are important, but this is unfortunately a health show.
Sure.
What do you educate them on?
So we particularly educate them on eating healthy.
Yeah.
And for young kids, it's very important in terms of avoiding foods that are not good for their health.
Right.
So things like your sugary drinks, your fatty foods, and so forth. We actually hold workshop lessons with the kids, where we have professional teachers come in and teach them about the importance of nutrition, the importance, for instance, of drinking water daily, eating your vegetables, eating your fruit, and also making sure that they have adequate and sufficient portions of the food that they eat. So you don't want them eating too much, you don't want them eating too little, you want them eating just right.
Healthily. All right. And then in terms of physical activity now, is it mainly running?
So it's mainly running, but where we can, we also try to expose them to other sports because one needn't run all the time. You can, cycle if you wish, like Lutando. You can also do walking, you can do swimming. But the whole idea, the main idea is to get them to be active. Okay. Because active obviously helps them to be energetic, to be balanced in terms of, wholesome person, and also to be more aware, obviously, in terms of, their mental and psychological health.
Right. But I see that you take them to even participate in marathon races and so on?
Yes, so that is one of the ways that we try to expose them to real races. So depending on their age, the younger kids between the ages of say 13 to 15, they tend to run your 5K races and your 10K races. And the older kids tend to run your 21K races. It's all part of also life skills training, making them aware of the importance of physical activity. And those that are interested also participating in competitive sports because it's an outlet for them to...
And we might be saying races, but it's not really about taking part to win, but taking part to enjoy it and just participate.
That's correct.
All right, let's get back to talk about races and sports at a higher level. We look at the importance of exposure of international cycling to communities. And in fact, let's hear what our guest Lutando Kaka had to say about the recent Mzansi tour.
initiative. I mean, it's a tour that's actually for the people and by the people. And I mean, it's pretty inclusive this year, unlike tours that we've seen in the past. And it's got also a very community-orientated background with it, because it's going to reach out to the communities that it starts at, and it's actually going to involve the communities. And also, as Velokaya is the beneficiary of the tour, it also sets a very good example, because not only are we going to see great racing and international riders in South Africa, but we're also going to see opportunities come with those international riders, opportunities coming into those communities, and also giving an opportunity for young and upcoming cycling future stars coming into the sport and people taking interest in the sport. So it's all for the good.
All for the good indeed. Lutando, you're a professional cyclist. I mean, just tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did it all start?
Okay, for me it started about 12 years ago. I'm originally from Cape Town, and that's where when I was actually exposed to Velokaya, an NPO which is I think about 15 years old. I'm actually a product of Velokaya. Velokaya promotes a healthy lifestyle in the communities, previously disadvantaged communities, in this case being Khayelitsha. It gets kids into the sport, and we use cycling as a draw card to actually get them involved into sport. And we also have programs such as your BMXing, we have running programs, and we're actually big on the education side, because we also have a state-of-the-art ICT center based in Khayelitsha, Cape Town. And all our programs are actually free to the communities that we actually serve. And at the moment, I'm part of Velokaya's competitive team, which is sponsored by Rand Water and also MTN Foundation on the education side. So we also have riders from Soweto, riders from Tembisa, riders from Khayelitsha, and that's pretty much the competitive side of the sport. But we also big in mass participation, because we have a little over 100 kids that always take part in the Cape Park Pick and Pay Cycle Tour, which I'm sure you're actually preparing for.
Well. Thank you for exposing some of my secrets. But anyway, I mean, cycling is really becoming a popular sport that is growing, isn't that so?
No, it is very much. But it's also a very expensive sport. I mean, like myself, most of us use the bicycle just for transportation, just to go to work if you can't actually afford to take a taxi or drive a car. But I mean, cycling is also part of a healthy lifestyle. It's healthy living, and it's actually a very good sporting exercise to either lose weight or to just maintain a healthy lifestyle.
Well, and it's a lot of fun as well, by the way.
Definitely.
At least I talk from experience.
A very addictive one as well. It's a good addiction as well, I guess.
Right. So essentially, what you then are saying is, you operate at a very high level, I mean, at the professional level, but you're saying that at the lower level amongst communities, you're using cycling to promote physical activity and a healthy lifestyle.
Yes, definitely. And I mean, especially in communities where we actually grow up, we need mentors, and that's the type of support that Velokaya offers. Apart from giving them this healthy avenue in terms of getting them into sport, but we also have trained program managers, which we are people from the communities that we operate in. We train them in terms of life skills so that they could actually pass on into the youth that we actually work with. But also not to just give them that healthy option, but to actually get them away from all the bad elements that you find in the township, your drugs, your crime, and so forth. But it also just gets them in this space whereby you get like-minded people that not only offer you an avenue into a sporting career, but also education side, because now we are also working with universities, the University of Cape Town. We've got a partnership with Cape Peninsula University of Technology, where we actually get all of these guys that are very good in their books, because not all of us will be champions on the bike. Some of us will be champion off the bike. So we get them into those universities, and this bursary is there for them to actually make sure that they take good use of those opportunities.
Okay, lastly, what can we expect from your team, Rainwater?
Well, you can only expect good things. I mean, we want to offer these opportunities to kids from KZN, guys from Soweto, as I did mention, but we only hope that with enough corporate and government support, we can actually make sure that we are a fully national development initiative that will actually offer these opportunities and see guys that go to France, opportunities that I've also had in the past.
Okay, well, I can only wish you all the best, man, in your future endeavors, and then keep up the good work.
No, thank you very much.
All right, now, I believe there's about a few more tweets coming through. African Ply Machine or something says, not at all. It's actually way cheaper. The only snag is you can't buy all fresh foods at once. Makeda says, converted to rye bread, eat light supper around 6 p.m., fruits for snacking, lots of water. Lots of advice is coming through there. Bongani Mafikida says, only when it comes to diet, it really is. Otherwise, it is a must for all. Lady Sars says, well, but it's still always better to try and make smarter choices in order to improve lifestyle. Well, yeah, I'm sure people watching here can take a leaf from the advice coming through. Well, when we return, more on a healthy lifestyle. Please stay with us.
SABC News. We report, contextualize and present news and current affairs honestly, fairly and fully. We consider it a duty to provide consistent, relevant, useful and top quality information and analysis. Our mission is to provide credible, accurate and interesting news programming, bringing news into everyone's homes in everyone's languages. Thank you, South Africa, for relying on SABC News for quality news output and for making us your #1 source of information. SABC News, Africa's news leader.
Technology isn't all scary. There's also fun stuff like gaming.
Lots of women do play games, whether it's on their phones or their tablets.
Then there are Africans who are using new tools to make other people's lives much easier.
We typed the whole CV on a small, QWERTY Nokia phone.
For all these and other technology and social media news, join me, Spumelele Zondi, every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Central African Time on SABC News.
Welcome back to Health Talk. We're talking a healthy lifestyle. Now, how can you live a healthy lifestyle? Well, more on that from our special guest. We welcome back Dr. Rob Collins, sports and exercise medicine physician based in Johannesburg, and Sister Razana Ali, diabetic nurse educator from DESA. Let's try and wrap it all up now. We've had all the good stuff about, exercise, regular physical activity. By the way, the notion of exercise, using the word exercise versus regular physical activity. Your comment on that?
Well, I think they're both very important. But I think people very much confuse activity with exercise.
Right.
And to live an active lifestyle is really simple things, and it doesn't cost any money. It's things like when you go to the shops, parking far from the entrance instead of driving around for 5 minutes looking for the closest bay, and then walking into the shopping center from there. And instead of standing at the lift waiting for 5 minutes for the lift to come, walking up the stairs. Even if you have to wait on each floor because you're short of breath, go and do that. Or drink water at your desk. While drinking the water is healthy, you drink a glass of water every 2 hours means you have to go to the loo, and go to the loo on a different level to where you are. So you have to go up and down the stairs a few times.
Yeah.
And that makes you live a normal, active lifestyle while you're living a normal lifestyle without doing anything really.
Right. So people shouldn't look at exercise, as it were, as punishment. This thing that I have to do, otherwise if I don't do, I'm going to die type thing.
I think both parts are important. I think both parts are important. and people should do exercise as well, but exercise should be something you enjoy.
Yeah.
So going to a gym, if you don't enjoy going to a gym, is a complete waste of time because it will be a punishment.
Yeah.
And going for a run, if you don't enjoy running, would be a waste of time. But going for a walk out in the park is exercise. And I don't know of many people who wouldn't enjoy that. It may not be safe, but it's a matter of picking something that you do enjoy and do that as well as the active lifestyle.
Okay, I believe we have Zik on the line. Zik, welcome to Health Talk.
Hi, good morning, and thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you very much. You have a comment or question, perhaps?
Yes, first of all, to pronounce my name, it's Z-E-E-Z, Ziv.
Ziv, my apologies. Sorry. Right.
Ziv. That's okay, Doc.
Okay.
Thank you for having me on the show. One is a comment,
Yes.
and I've got a little question.
Sure.
I've started to watch my diet about a year ago, and I started to get active, running, walking, playing my golf, gymming a bit at home, and I must say it's changed my life, and I've become addicted.
You become addicted to the golf or to?
No, to a healthy lifestyle.
All right. Okay.
Diet and activities.
Okay. Well, it's not a bad thing to get addicted to a healthy lifestyle, isn't it?
That's correct.
Right. And then
My question is, yes. Unfortunately, I've got a flu now.
Yeah.
And I'm on antibiotics.
Right.
And antihistamine. Must I stop my activities, or what do I do?
Excellent question. Thank you very much. And I'm sure the doctor can deal with that easily, yeah?
Yeah, essentially, while one is sick, one shouldn't be exercising at all because it's usually viruses, so the antibiotics probably won't make too much of a difference. But the viruses can go to the heart and cause serious conditions. So the rules we use are essentially if it's above the head or from the neck and up, while you've still got symptoms, you shouldn't exercise. And if it's below the neck, then you should wait 2 weeks at least after that before starting to exercise. And then when you start exercising again, do so with moderation and gradually build up.
Okay. Great. But Jazz, talking about, the dangers of exercise whilst you're sick and so on, anybody wanting to start an exercise program, so somebody that had not been involved in any form of, formal exercise, as it were, and wants to go join a gym or start, join a running club and so on, what should that person do?
I would suggest the person goes to see a biokineticist first, and most gyms have got a biokineticist resident there, because they will do a good screening of them and check what type of activity they need, and then what type of exercise they do depends on what their goals are. Because if the person wants to be a bodybuilder, it's completely different from a person who wants to exercise to be active. And they can help with working that out. They may then be referred to a doctor to be checked. They may be referred to a dietitian. There's various options that they could do. And yes, it is a gym, but there's lots of biokineticists around not working at gyms as well. But a biokineticist would be the first port of call, I would think.
Yeah. So the message out there is that exercise generally is safe.
Yes.
But there's certain precautions you need to take.
Yeah.
All right. Sister Ali. Now, we know that, obviously, the reason why we're doing this show, there's a healthy lifestyle, awareness day coming up in 2 days' time on the 22nd. And that, somewhere in April is World Health Day that focuses on diabetes. Just firstly, tell us the importance of this World Health Day. I know that it's still early on, but we're talking about it anyway.
Most importantly, the importance is about creating awareness when it comes to diabetes, recognizing that it's really become a global epidemic now. 1 in 11 people are diagnosed with diabetes. Every 6 seconds, somebody dies from diabetes-related complications. So we need to get the message out to everybody to understand that there is diabetes, so we have to accept it. We also have to know that there are ways of getting, the management and the treatment, getting the prevention of the diabetes, and also for us to understand that, the more people that are out there, the more we'll tell the rest too. So we need to start talking to each other. We only have one dedicated diabetes day in internationally. Usually Usually it's the 11th or 14th of November, sorry. Now, the World Health Organization has created the 7th of April for us to then start talking more and engaging more with everyone. So from a National Department of Health perspective, we're going to be celebrating or talking about diabetes, and we shouldn't be celebrating it, but dedicating it to diabetes,
sure.
And that's what it is going to be. 7th of April.
7th, yeah. And I guess the other painful truth about diabetes, I mean, people often refer to it as the disease of halves, because half the people walking around that don't actually know that they have diabetes, isn't that so?
That's correct. And by testing and getting yourself tested, you're going to be more aware of what's happening and knowing the risk factors, knowing what your family history is, knowing about your own risk factor, whether you are smoking, whether you are drinking alcohol, living an unhealthy lifestyle, and of course have heart disease or any other cardiovascular disease. So you need to know your risk.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we've come to the end of our show. That's all the time we've had for. But I want to just thank you so much for contributing to this show, Dr. Rob Collins, sports and exercise physician based in Johannesburg in private practice, and Sister Razana Ali, diabetic nurse educator from DISA. Thank you so much for contributing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, folks, that's it. That's all we have for you today. And remember to join us again next week on SABC News. And please share your views and comments via our Facebook page, SABC Health Talk. And just keep those tweets rolling again. And if we have a bit of time, we'll read them. You can watch repeat of this show, not today, but simply go to the YouTube channel to get a glimpse of all the other previous shows that we've had. I'm Dr. Silo Mutau. Thank you so much for watching Health Talk, and please do take care.